All right. All right. All right. It's Wednesday, June 7th, year of our Lord 2023. And here we are. I guess Tucker Carlson had his first Twitter episode a few weeks ago when he got canned, or I guess he quit or something from Fox News. I said to the audience, I said, maybe I'll start watching Tucker now, because I never really watched him before. I've seen a few clips here and there, but I've never seen even like a tenth of an episode. Like, I just don't watch that kind of stuff. Despite what you might read in the comment section. But in any case, and then, he dropped his episode yesterday, and I had no desire to watch it, so I didn't. So I guess that experiment is over. I'm actually still not going to watch Tucker Carlson, even when he's on Twitter. But that being said, someone in a comm box that I'm in said he's talking about aliens, which I thought was interesting, to say the least. Now, if you've been a long-time watcher of my channel, then you know I have not made my opinions about aliens a secret, or even how fake most of what NASA comes up with is. I've never made that a secret either. I've mocked NASA and their alleged photos many times, and all of that kind of thing. So I'm not really too keen on the space stuff. Well, at least the space stuff that they pass off is real. Like, I like Star Wars, even though it's gone really gay lately. I like Star Trek, but that's fantasy, you know what I mean? I like it the same way I don't know, the Middle Earth stuff is like fantasy too, but it's a little less fantasy. I don't know. But, it's fantasy. Most of NASA is fantasy. Let's just be honest about that. But in any case, that's for another video. I figured I'd watch this clip. I have not seen this yet. So this is Tucker Carlson commenting on UFOs and aliens, apparently alien species. So let's hear what he has to say, because I'm sure this is full of truth.
Yesterday, for example, a former Air Force officer who worked for years in military intelligence came forward as a whistleblower to reveal that the U.S. government has physical evidence of crashed non-human-made aircraft, as well as the bodies of the pilots.
What is this? Why is this happening? Hold on a second. Let me see if we can fix it. Try to get... What?
Who flew those aircraft. The Pentagon has spent decades studying these otherworldly remains in order to build more technologically advanced weapons systems. Okay, that's what the former intel officer revealed, and it was clear he was telling the truth. In other words...
All right, so the government has been studying alien spaceships for decades, and they've recovered an alien body, and Tucker says it's clear he's telling the truth. This has been the story for a long time. Like, if you're new to this thing, maybe you think this is like a special reveal, or like this is new. This is not new. They've admitted this for a long time, and even when they didn't admit it, there were whistleblowers coming out all the time saying, yeah, I was, stationed here and I saw this thing, and, things like that. And so this is nothing new. It's just very interesting. Like, the very first episode of his new show, where he's going to be super based, and now he's not, he's not censored by the media guys and stuff like that. He starts to talk about aliens. Yeah.
UFOs are actually real, and apparently so is extraterrestrial life. Now we know. In a normal country,
we definitely know this is true. Listen, and I saw Matt Walsh. This is kind of how I found out about it. So I saw the person in my comm box mentioning it, and then I saw Matt Walsh talk about it, and he's like, the government's been lying for decades, but now they've come out with the truth. And if you deny it, then you just have a preconceived notion against aliens. It's like, what? What are you talking about? You listen to yourself. They've been lying to you for decades, literally decades. But now they're definitely telling the truth. They've lied to you every day for decades about how there's no, alien crafts and there's things like that. And then they drop a few breadcrumbs here and there, because that's what they do. They drop a few, they put a few, disinformation, whatever you want to call it. They've been lying to you for decades. But now, when we have the most evil government we've ever had, now it's just gotten progressively more evil over time. Now, though, they've decided to tell the truth. Like, so they've lied before, and then they've only gotten more evil, and now they're telling the truth. Like, do you realize how stupid that sounds? That sounds really stupid. And honestly, when you start to think that way, you have to realize that there's something going on in your brain. There's some kind of trigger that's gone on in your brain where it's like, trust the government, trust the government, trust the government. I know they lie, but you got to trust them now. You got to trust them. And this is it. I remember one time I had, this was Jared Wilson, I believe. I was arguing with Jared Wilson about public school. And this was back when I was kind of in my like libertarian-ish phase, and I was saying how we should defund public schools and stuff like that. And I still believe that to this day. Back then I was much more black and white, like wooden about it. And obviously I still want to do that, just not like I'm not OCD about it. In any case, and this was like days after he was saying how the America has been systemically racist and how we've been taught a racist view of history. And he was like, well, why are you going to defund public schools? Like, people need public schools. And I was like, do you hear yourself? Like the government is racist. They teach us racist things, and they've been doing it for decades, but yet you still want public schools funded to teach us these allegedly racist things. It doesn't make any sense. Same kind of thing.
News would qualify as a bombshell, the story of the millennium. But in our country, it doesn't. The whistleblower's account ran on a technology website called The Debrief, which you've probably never heard of. The Washington Post had that story, but decided not to run it. The New York Times, meanwhile, just pretended it never happened. On the front page of the New York Times website this morning, there were 5 stories about Ukraine, as well as 4 stories apiece about Donald Trump, trans people, and climate change, the usual lineup. There was nothing at all about how an alien species is flying hypersonic aircraft over our cities. Not one word. So if you're wondering why our country seems so dysfunctional, this is a big part of the reason. Nobody knows what's happening. A small group of people control access to all relevant information, and the rest of us don't know. We're allowed to yap all we want about racism. But go ahead and talk about something that really matters and see what happens. If you keep it up, they'll make you be quiet. Trust us. That's how they maintain control.
All right. I guess I can see why he... All right, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought that was going to be really stupid. It was stupid, but I thought it was going to be even stupider. So I guess he's making the point, like, yeah, if there's really aliens out there, like, you know, like you would think that would be, you know, front page news. But it's just like, it's not news because it's an obvious psyop. Like, there's no aliens up there. There aren't any aliens. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a psyop. It's obvious. It's an obvious psyop. That being said, it's like, I can see the point he's making. Yes, you know, they want you to know about Ukraine. They want you to know about trannies. They want you to know about racism. That's all true. That's all true. But this example about aliens that's not it. Why is he doing this? Why would Tucker Carlson in his very first episode to make a point that's a very good point? It's a very good point. You know, you've got these small conglomerates that control the news and whatever, and they make you stupid. They make sure you're not informed about anything that matters. That's all true. Like, but you know, you would think that he wouldn't want to sully that point with nonsense about aliens. Yeah, they've been lying for years, but then, you know, they decided to have disclosure, and they disclosed it on a random tech blog that nobody's ever heard of. This is an insane story. What kind of an insane story is this? Oh man, Tucker Carlson. I'll tell you right now, I mean, this is the first 2 minutes of Tucker Carlson that I've watched in many, many months. And I gotta say, it's not really inspiring any confidence. I'll tell you that much. I don't know. What do you guys think? You guys like this Tucker Carlson stuff? This new stuff? I don't know. I mean, I didn't watch the rest of it. I mean, I'm sure it was okay, but man, this is Tucker Carlson. Oh man. So the aliens, though, like, you know, the whole thing with the UFOs. UFOs are definitely real. You know what I mean? UFOs are real. People see things in the sky all the time, you know? I've seen things in the sky. But UFOs are definitely real, but, you know, a lot of these encounters that are associated with UFOs, these are very clear demonic encounters. These are demons. These are demons trying to contact us. These are demons that are trying to mystify us and all kinds of things. And back in the day, we understood this. These were demons. These were demonic encounters, demonic entities in the sky. And even in the Bible, it talks about the various things in the sky and stuff like that. Anyway, these are demonic entities, and we all kind of knew this a long time ago, but now because we're so modern and we don't believe in demons, now we just pretend that they're extraterrestrial. They're not extraterrestrials. They're demons. Well, I guess if they're demons, they're still extraterrestrials. I don't know. Who knows? They like to play word games like that. They're not aliens like the way you would see an alien in Star Wars. That's the point. Like, they're extraterrestrials in the sense that they're not like normally from here, but they're not like from the planet Kashyyyk. They're not Wookiees. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. So and I'm fully aware that Star Wars and Star Trek, these are all part of the PSYOP machine. They make these movies that we all love and things like that, and shows, and then we start connecting the phenomenon that's real with the show, and in our mind, it's just like it is in the show. You know what I mean? You got to be careful with that kind of stuff, because you start to think, well, if there are people encountering these entities, then it's got to be just kind of like the same thing in Star Trek or the Star Wars. Like, they're just other races, and they're fully sentient like us, and they've got emotions like us, and they're fighting for freedom just like us, and they have political games just like us. And it's like, no, like that part was all made up. Like, yes, they are actually meeting entities. That's fine. You can agree with that. That's pretty much undeniable. And by the way, if you're just finding out about this, that it's undeniable that people are encountering these kinds of things, you need to kind of consider why it is that you're just now considering that. Because I've known about this stuff I'm 40, so at least 20 years, probably more. And it's been undeniable that entire time. Like people's encounters with these demons has been undeniable for a long, long time. And if you're just now coming to realize, oh man, maybe this is real, like, you got to consider why that is. I would argue that you've been programmed to not believe in those encounters for a long time, and now you're being programmed to believe in them. And so you've got to somehow get out of this trap that the government has set for you, that your education, that the propaganda programming has set for you. Because, in your mind, the people that saw aliens were like hicks, right? They were hillbillies, right? You shouldn't trust them. It was like Billy Bob over there, had a little bit too much moonshine, and he's crazy. And that's what you think, right? That's what you think. That's who saw aliens before. That's not the case. That's not the case at all. That was propaganda that told you that. That was propaganda that told you that. And so you are believing the propaganda then. Make sure that now that it's been revealed that all of that was propaganda then, because that's what's being revealed here. These stories of these encounters that you were propagandized into not taking seriously, you just thought it was Billy Bob, sucking back too much moonshine, he had a bad batch and he saw aliens. That's what you were propagandized to think, that those alien reports were people like that. And even if they were people like that, you were made to think that they were insane, they were making it up, they were liars. That's what you were made to think. But the whole time, that wasn't the case. That was not the case. There were credible reports of this kind of stuff, and you never heard about that. You didn't believe that, or you were embarrassed to admit you believed that, because that's what describes a lot of people. Like, they believed in the UFO phenomenon. They believed people were encountering entities, but they were too embarrassed to admit it because they didn't want to be called a conspiracy theorist or something like that. So you were propagandized to believe a certain thing, and now you're being propagandized to think, it's a highly advanced technological species that comes from the planet Andromeda, and it's gonna be just like in Star Trek when the Borg came, and you're being propagandized the whole way through, and it hasn't stopped. And I got to be honest with you, I know a lot of you guys like Tucker. I don't trust him. I don't trust him. Maybe he's good. Maybe he's awesome. Maybe he's based. Maybe he's not part of the propaganda machine. Maybe. I don't think so, though. I don't think so. But yeah, there's some really good stuff, especially from a Christian perspective. There's some really good stuff about UFO encounters and encounters with aliens, which are just demonic encounters. There's a lot of really good research and thoughtful explanations and things like that. So yeah, you should check that stuff out. You should check that stuff out and try to revisit it with new eyes, because a lot of these Christian scholars were taking this extremely seriously, and they would interview people, and they would, think this through, and they would match it with theology and stuff like that. And not all of it's good, but there's a lot of really good stuff there. If I'm not mistaken, Matt Slick from carm.org used to do some research in this. I might be mistaken about that, because I haven't thought about Matt Slick in a long time, but I'm pretty sure Matt Slick did some research about this. He's got a show too. You should call him up and see what he has to say. In any case, yes, please, guys, please don't believe everything you hear. Aliens. That's a great example of how the media controls everything. The aliens are out there. Oh, man. Anyway, that's all I got for you today. Hope you found this video helpful. God bless.